gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
Continuing my series of collecting for the Game Boy Advance, which I started as felt the system doesn't seem to get as much exposure as similar consoles like the Super Nintendo or Sega Mega Drive, and the good games tend to be quite a lot cheaper to collect, plus they take up a lot less shelf space. Now the quality of this particular title might be entirely based on my own nostalgia, as the ZX Spectrum was my first game system, and my favourite game was Manic Miner, which I absolutely played to death. As I no longer own my trusty Specky and I haven't set up a convenient way to emulate it, having this revision of Manic Miner on the Game Boy Advance is the next best thing, especially as it's real cheap to pick up. You're looking at about £5 for cart only and about £10 to £15 complete in box. It was only released in Europe, so if you're outside this region you might struggle to find a copy. If you've never heard of it before, Manic Miner is a renowned puzzle platformer, originally written in 1983 by Matthew Smith for the ZX Spectrum, which was then quickly ported to a myriad of other home computers. It was the first game in the series of Miner Willy games, where you have to work your way around each level collecting all of the flashing objects before Willy's air runs out. Now the graphics have unfortunately, but understandably been updated to take advantage of the more modern hardware. Even the inevitable boot that comes down to squash Willy has been 3D rendered, but the control mechanics seem pretty faithful even though it plays quite a bit faster. It's actually more enjoyable to play with a D-pad than struggling with the old Kempston joystick or an antiquated spongy keyboard. You can either play the original mode, which is just the original 20 challenging levels with their zooped up graphics, or you can play the enhanced mode, which has an extra 10 brand new, well-designed levels mixed in. They've also reduced the brutality by giving you a load of extra lives and have thrown in a password system that allows you to jump directly to certain levels, which is great as it gives me a chance to see the levels I never managed to reach when I was 7 years old. Overall, it's a decent port that is still fun and still just as challenging to play today, and it's just enough to satisfy my Specky nostalgia without having to deal with the inconvenience of having an ancient system set up. It's slightly disappointing there isn't an option to switch back to the original 8-bit graphics, but it is nice that you don't have to wait half an hour for it to attempt to load up off a dusty old audio cassette.